Look, I realized Shedeur Sanders was starting only his second NFL game, and I realized that in Cleveland, the winds were swirling reportedly between 30 and up to 50 miles an hour. And I realized that Shedeur right away lost his starting center and then was down his center, right guard, and right tackle. I get that. And he was up against a suddenly hot 49ers team featuring a defensive coordinator in Robert Saleh, who's top 5 defensive mind in pro football. I get all that. But at some point, I guess it's going to have to come from the owner, Jimmy Haslam. Kevin Stefanski is going to have to take the training wheels off Shedeur Sanders. At some point, you need to free him from the bassinet that they've locked him in. Yeah, he's an NFL baby, but the kid's got game. He's got flair. He's got swagger. He's got charisma. You have to let Shedeur be Shedeur because that game was winnable. I know the final score was 26-8 San Francisco, but late in the first half, it was 8-7 Shedeur's team. And in the third quarter, mid-third quarter, it was still only 10-8 San Francisco. And look what starts happening. The whole first half, in part because of the wind, I get it. But Shedeur's 75% of the plays were under center. So he's taking it under center and he's turning, and this just drives me crazy. This show ball handoff where you just show the ball, you just show everybody, here's the ball, and I'm going to hand it to Judkins. Again, they almost had 100 yards rushing by halftime. Judkins and Dylan Sampson are stud kids. They got game. They were playing so hard for Shedeur. Everybody was fighting hard for extra yards for Shedeur. He was lifting the team. He was inspiring. He was igniting. He was detonating. Everybody was out. We got a real one now. We got, as Shedeur said, I'm who you've been looking for all these years. And he is. And he showed you several flashes of that today. But I'll give you this. Early on, the wind is howling, spinning, tornadoing. It's just, you could hear when the ref would turn on his microphone. It was rough. It didn't even show on TV how rough it was to throw a football. But right away, there's a 3rd and 3 play. Shedeur drops back and says, no, I'm not going to take the first down. He had a shot for a first down. Jeudy broke open deep. Again, you're throwing it against the wind, into the wind, and Shedeur threw a rocket that he got up on top of and made it spin and cut through the wind, and the ball into the wind this way just caught it under the nose, and it just sailed over Judy's head. It's a tough throw. I wish he'd made it because it would have changed the whole tone and direction of the game, but he didn't. He missed him high, and here we went. So they're down 7-0, predictably at this point. Defense is playing very well, but they always play well, and they just took Christian McCaffrey, the cinch first ballot Hall of Famer. Took him out of the game because C-Mac went 20 times for 53 yards, so he was no factor, no big threat. But the point is, they're down 7-0. They move the ball all the way down to San Francisco's 20, where they face a 4th and 1. And here we go again. Shedeur, you gotta listen. He is mobile. Trust me on this. I'm not saying he's got his papa's legs. I'm not saying he's a chip off that block of Dion, one of the fastest people with a football in his arm I ever saw. Greatest cornerback ever, times 2. But Shedeur can move. At Colorado, they would call draws for him, red zone draws. They would let him run the read option. They would let him keep. When he escaped, he can move. I'm not saying he's a speed demon, but he has athletic ability, shiftiness, where he could make you miss. Well, you have to let him ignite the offense by making a play. You saw what happened with Brock Purdy. They had a 3rd and goal down on, maybe the 2 or 3 yard line, and they let Brock Purdy run the fake handoff keep. for the touchdown. Shedeur is highly capable of that. So what do? On 4th and 1, they run the most predictable play in the history of plays. They just say, here, Judkins, we're going to run it right up the middle. And he's got the backup center in. That's a problem. And the center and guard, whiff, and Judkins gets blown up for -1. Well, you come away with no points, down 7-0. It's 3 minutes left in the first quarter, and I'm like, these are momentum plays. You got to figure that one out. You got to put the ball in Shedeur's hands. Let him roll it. Let him have some kind of an option boot where you can keep it or flip it to the tight end to Njoku or Fannin. These guys can really catch. They can get open. Let Shedeur ignite. Let him operate. Let him be Shedeur. He's who you've been looking for. You got to give him a chance. Take the training wheels off. And then third quarter, you're still down only 10-8 at this point. It's mid-third quarter. And you got a 4th and 1 at your own 33. And all of a sudden I look up and here we go again. Fannin Jr., who I love, great hands, but suddenly he's lining up under center and he's going to run the quarterback sneak. Let Shedeur sneak it or keep it or roll with it. Let Shedeur make a play. He's a natural-born playmaker. Trust me on this. I know his game inside and out. He was born to do this, born to make plays, but you can't take him out of the play. You can't shame him by saying you can't even play quarterback on this play. And don't get me started on the red zone plays. The 2-point play, I don't think Judkins scored on it, but they did it at Las Vegas. Shedeur's first start. They shame him. They take him off the field and let Judkins run the Wildcat. We're just saying you can't move at all. You got no playmaking skills at all. You're a liability at quarterback when we get in the red zone. Stop it. Again, Shedeur was asked about this last week. Is Stefanski trying to sabotage you? Well, I wonder that. You don't do that. If Shedeur were what he should have been, which is a high first-round pick, there's no way you're doing that to him. There's no way. He wouldn't sit still for it. The team wouldn't sit still for it, and you wouldn't get away with it, Kevin Stefanski. I don't get it. So you're shaming him with Wildcat, then you're shaming him by letting the tight end run the quarterback sneak, and I get it. I know Baltimore's gotten away with this. Mark Andrews, he did the fake roll off the quarterback, fake sneak. I got it. But Shedeur is who you've been looking for. You just have to give him a chance. And then I don't know what they're doing. I keep thinking they're such a talented young team. And every time I look up, this Larvidan kid or Isaiah Bond, these are undrafted rookies that they're playing key roles, and I don't get it. And Larvidan's back catching punts, and it's a rough day to catch a punt. And it's still only 17-8 off the Fannin fumble on 4th and 1. You gift him a touchdown, but it's still only 17-8. You got a chance. You could get back in this game. And you force him to punt, and Larvidan, who failed to catch a throw from Shedeur in the end zone against, it was when he got to play the second half against the Ravens. That was a huge play. That could have changed the narrative and conversation. What a throw that was by Shedeur. And yet he fumbles the punt, almost like vomits it right into 49ers hands, and you gift him another touchdown. Well, okay. And it's 23-8 and the game's over because the wind is howling. I don't know. So Shedeur's day, he goes 16-25. He had two or three nice throws late, and they're just playing zone. I got it. But 16-25 for 100.